I'm walking around this circle for almost like nothing else for the majority of the introduction of this video. Why am I wasting my time just about to be sparrowing around in this up to nothingness? Jeez Louise. Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen? I am Piglet here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Luigi Galaxy in the Super Mario Galaxy Let's Play for the Nintendo Wii/Nintendo Wii U as a digital download software. So last time we actually did manage to beat the likes out of the forms of King Catalet by the forms of that particular octopus looking boss, and we managed to able to collect even more of those power stars. I would say that we did manage to gather about lesser power stars. I believe we did manage to gather about 8 of them from the last video, so to be expected by this point. So yeah, I believe today for this video is the fact that we're about to be revisiting back to the forms of the Gateway Galaxy for the final time and able to actually deal with the purple coin missions this time. So, this planet, it's very dear to me. I looked forward to visiting this planet with the Lumers every 100 years. The Lumer that's been traveling with you may also grow up when they become stars someday. Some Lumers become planets, some become comets, and a few become power stars. I'm traveling with them while they look for a place to be reborn. But I never thought all this would happen. Wow, Mama must really trust you. Well, how about this? So basically, that, as you can tell, we need to grab these 100 purple coins once again. So even then though, that if you manage to gather them all, then obviously the power star will pop up. So here's something that's a little bit weird about this, the next transformation. In this case, the final transformation as Luigi in this game, is that if we obtain the red star, in this case the flying star actually, you're transformed into flying Luigi, spin while when jumping to fly. So yeah, this color right there for, you know, flying Luigi. If you remember from, if you guys have ever played Super Paper Mario before, most notably if you go towards the end of the game, like if you've managed to able to try to take on, you know, Mr. L and stuff like that later on, spoiler alert for those who haven't played the game yet, that color is actually based off from Mr. L from Super Paper Mario, which is kind of cool, but the biggest difference is here is the fact that Luigi doesn't wear his, the banner mask. So even though that all he does is just that, you know, he functions the same way for how he does it on Flying Mario, so not much anything else to be said and done. So even though that, yeah, everything's all accounted for basically. So even though today's day was, the 29th of May, in this case we've only got about 3 more days to go until we know are going to be approaching on to June. So even then I'm really looking forward to some other things that's been planning for. Most notably with, although I'll explain more details onto this whenever we get to the Hungry Loomer stage until, well, after this mission has been done. So even then though, yeah, that's as far as I can say, because even then though we've actually come across into all of the power-ups in the forms of in not only Super Mario Galaxy, but also Super Luigi Galaxy as for its separate campaign as well. So even then though, yeah, that's as far as we can able to say about this for the most part though, other than the fact that, well, obviously we need to still grab these 100 purple coins until later on whenever we beat the likes out of Bowser for the 3rd time for Luigi. And it's also kind of thing about it though, the 7th time beating against with Bowser in this entire Let's Play so far, so yeah, you probably expected that much, so that I grasp. So yeah, because of that though, yeah, I suggest you're able to actually hold down the A button and you're able to actually adjust the actual aiming, not just by the forms of the actual aiming to your you know, flying maneuvering and stuff, but it's also actually changed the camera for you. So thankfully though, they actually did manage to make it slightly easier for you. Well, specifically if you're trying to deal with the actual purple coins with bubbles on them, then you can able to actually just able to get a better angle when it comes to like trying to obtaining those purple coins in the process. So that's as far as simplistic as you think. So even then though, let's just go ahead and get the last purple coin. In fact, it's well hidden somewhere across these little bushes, especially noticeable with these little reflectable objects, whatever you want to call it, those things. Again, I haven't really played that game quite some time at this point, so again, I must admit that I do apologize for that. So let's obtain the only red star in this entire game. So even then, we're about to be able to leave this place for reals, because even then, after this, then we're not going to see that particular galaxy for quite a long time, even forever for this entire Let's Plays department. So there we go. That pretty much wraps things up with the Gateway Galaxy. Sorry for that little bit of a tangent right there. And to be expected, the Hungry Luma actually appears right next to the actual gate. So I suppose I could able to actually focus on that first before able to actually move on to something else entirely, though, so to speak. So even then, though, yeah, there's some quite few things that's worth mentioning for this point. It's the fact that we remember yesterday that I forgot to say about this and during the likes of in yesterday's video, and during the likes of my Let's Play of Klonoa Daughter Phantomile, because, generally speaking, I did manage to deal with the final boss on that game so far. And, I suppose one thing I should probably say is the fact that we've only got about 13 more days to go until, Nintendo's E3 announcements. It should be approaching by this point. So, but once the actual thing itself is about to come by, then whenever I get back into Super Luigi Galaxy at some point in the middle portion of June, then I shall be able to actually mention more details about the forms of the, Nintendo E3 announcements for that time. So even then, I'm really looking forward to it, though. Speaking of Nintendo, actually, recently Nintendo has been announced there's going to be another Nintendo Direct, but it's going to be about 6 days before the E3 announcements, which should be the second Pokemon Direct coming in during the likes of it. I would say today's day was, as I said this before, today's day was the 29th of May. In this case, we've only got about like 3 more days to go until, the May month is about to close in this year. So generally speaking, you get the idea for that. So So you're after it too? You have to race me for it. Sure. And this is going to be the final time we're going to be racing against with this little particular boost speedster right here. So generally speaking, until the sequel, we're never going to see him again, because obviously that I could assume because of how the fact that they're trying to able to add something new to the table, or in this case trying to replace with different characters or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. But I digress. So, same old stuff, we need to use Boo Luigi for this entire race. So, kind of think about it though, I really don't think you can able to actually take damage on this particular race, because obviously that the actual speedster Boo might actually think that you're cheating if you manage to able to use just Luigi or Mario on its own. I might be wrong, but even then I just want to classify for that. So, but I digress. So, yeah, as far as I said this before, that the Pokemon Direct will be happening and during the likes event, although the main focus of that particular Direct is going to be the next set of information about the latest Nintendo Switch installment of the Pokemon series, which is, of course, Sword and Shield. And from what I can gather, I'm assuming they might actually mention about some more details about the gameplay mechanics, and especially noticeable with the legendary Pokemon. They're about to be mainly focused on, based on from the front cover, kind of like how we did on the previous Pokemon games. The only exceptions are, obviously the Generation 1 Pokemon box arts, because they usually, get these Pokemon based off from the starter Pokemon. Like, for instance, in, Pokemon Yellow, specifically, you get Pikachu in the front cover, and then if you manage to obtain Pokemon Red, it's obviously based off from Charizard or Lizardon from Japan, and because I recognize that particular, also known as from different countries, specifically Japan, just because I remember back in the day, back in the beginning of 2008, which is about a decade ago, that one particular character that does have a different Japanese name for Charizard, and that was Lizardon from the Japanese version, because I noticed that from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, specifically the Japanese version of the game. So yeah, you probably get the idea what I'm going to talk about here. So, and before we get into the Golden Dome, however, though, we need to able to activate that little shortcut thingy right here, just in case if I manage to able to like turn off the game or reset the game or something like that, then that way I can able to instantly transport to here a lot faster. So, I want to classify for that. So, But I digress. So, yeah, because of that though, in the blue version of Pokemon Blue on the Game Boy, the original, kind of system, the actual front cover that usually includes is, Blastoise, which I could assume that's what that, Pokemon was named. And also, during the likes of in the Game Boy Color generation, which is Pokemon Gold, they include, Ho-Oh from, you know, the legendary birds and stuff. And then on Pokemon Silver, they do have Lugia, which is actually a psychic legendary Pokemon and stuff like that. And also in Pokemon Crystal, they did actually include Suicune from the front cover of the actual game. So, based off from the legendary, you know, beasts. So, yeah, it's one to classify that. And from the Game Boy Advance generation of gaming and stuff. Although there's one game I completely forgot about, and then I just simply ignored that, and that will have to be Pokemon Green, which if I remember correctly, it might be something related to, well, it's nothing like Ivysaur, it's just like, again, I must admit that I do apologize for the actual errors of Pokemon pronunciations and stuff like that, because, well, you know, as I said this countless amount of times, I wasn't exactly a huge Pokemon fanatic, but at least I did manage to got some Pokemon stuff, so at least I did manage to got those. So anyways, here's that little, cool, get inside the small house glitch. So, there it is right there from the other side. Let's take a look at the other side. Yep, kind of convincing, doesn't it? And of course, we instantly pop out of the actual house by simply just walk out of the actual door, just like before. And let's go ahead and grab these little coins and whatnot. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Although it might be seems kind of redundancy on this game, because until the sequel, Super Mario Galaxy 2, then we can able to actually use those coins a lot, even until later on. So, because of that though, even though we're not going to mention about more on that game until, you know, until next month, or in this case, I would say almost next month actually, because even then, we are slowly close towards the end of May, as I said this countless amount of times. And then, I suppose we can able to actually just to say that we've already got about, like, quite a few days until whenever we get to Super Mario Galaxy 2. I would say, kind of speaking of such, is the fact that, that particular redo Let's Play should be up and during, the very beginning of July. So even then, though, that could be so much of it. So, alongside with the forms of the continuous amount of uploads for, you know, Super Mario Party that Sonic and Pinkie Pie still need to get back into it. Although what I've noticed is the fact that Sonic and Pinkie Pie might actually take a break on that game for a while until whenever we finish up on certain Let's Plays. Most notably with, of course, Super Mario Galaxy / Super Luigi Galaxy, if you want to able to be more specific with that. And same applies by the forms of, you know, Klonoa Daughter Phantomile, which I would definitely gonna end off that Let's Play during tomorrow, so to speak. So even then though, that once that's been done, then we can able to move on to the next Klonoa installment of the actual Let's Plays department. So, speaking of which, we haven't got a single Kirby Let's Play of the actual any Kirby game for quite a while actually, at least ever since back in, I think the last Kirby Let's Play we've ever done, it was Kirby's Epic Yarn for the Nintendo Wii. Most notably because of the celebration for Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn for the Nintendo 3DS. Speaking about that game, I haven't really exactly get back into that version of the game because, well, honestly, it might be seems, you know, kind of underwhelming sometimes because we've already owned the Wii version before on one hand, and usually I really don't mind about the Wii version because it's a little bit more different, and plus with a very, very good frame rate and all that stuff. Well, at least the 3DS version still runs very well, but the visuals themselves can be really downgraded than the likes of the original Wii version counterpart, so I want to classify for that. And plus I haven't really get into the actual, like, Extra Epic Yarn for quite some time because I'm still practically at Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey at the time, most notably because of some completionists of certain Mario Luigi games. Well, until whenever they announced there's going to be another one at some point in the future though. Well, I don't know exactly for surely though, just because, well, at this point that the 3DS itself is now basically finished its life. Well, at least for Nintendo's logic side of things. So yeah, you probably get the idea for that. So, but I digress. So here we go, folks, back into the deep dark galaxy, as you can see right there, because I've already did manage to finish up with the first mission on this world, and that was Boo in a Box. So now let's go ahead and just deal with the underground ghost ship now. So, at least for the actual mission itself. So, yeah, speaking of Pokemon, actually, is the fact that, they recently did say about the forms of, well, I don't know if I may be wrong, but I'm guessing they did manage to mention some more Pokemon details due to the actual press conference. Well, not so much for the E3 stuff, but during the likes of it, you know, until next couple of months or so. Well, in this case, about, as I said this before, only 13 more days to go until, you know, Nintendo's E3 is about to be getting themselves close. So, yeah, I'm still really pumped for that one, so... But I digress. Back to what I was saying about the forms of some other Pokemon they did manage to able to add in for the actual front covers as an example. Like, for instance, that in a Game Boy Advance generation, they did have, let's just say, Groudon from Pokemon Ruby on the front cover, and Dialga from, well, I can't pronounce that name very well though, I do apologize for that. But I think it was like Crygo from Pokemon Sapphire version, which I no longer have because, well, I decided to able to give away to Stuart. Because, speaking of Stuart actually, from Cap King 74, that he did really enjoy the game basically, because, you know, although, the other thing about it though, what I've noticed is the fact that on the Pokemon Emerald version, they do have, you know, the animated Pokemon sprites and stuff, whilst new forms of how it does it on Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, well, basically, they don't have, somewhat of animated sprites, so, it's one to classify for that, so... And, speaking of Pokemon Emerald, actually, the actual front cover on that game was basically Rayquaza, so, but again, I do apologize for that terrible pronunciation for those Pokemon, names and stuff, because, well, as a child, I wasn't really into Pokemon stuff until, whenever I watched Pokemon the first movie for the first time on the DVD, not on widescreen, unfortunately, though, until the Manga UK Entertainment did manage to pop up from time to time. And then, finally, we got ourselves the widescreen version of that film, even though the actual text itself might be in Japanese. So, at least I don't mind about this too much, because, obviously, that, it still plays exactly like how it did on the original counterparts. So, besides the actual, like, the actual screen formats, like, compared to the forms of the original, version of the film, they did manage to only stuck with, 4.3 standard, screen ratio. And compared to the manga version, or in this case, Manga UK Entertainment version, they did at least manage to have the widescreen support. So, that's as far as I'm aware from this particular point there, folks. So, anyways, as for the DS generation, they do have, well, I won't gonna count the remakes though, because it's basically exactly the same stuff. So, even though, as for the DS generation, for the Pokemon front covers they have from the legendary standpoints, we have Dialga from Pokemon Diamond, and Pelaga from Pokemon Pearl, and finally Giratina from Pokemon Platinum version. So, it's one classified for that. And as for the others though, I don't think I've actually memorized everything else, although Pokemon Generation 1, 2, and 3, and 4 is the only ones I've remembered, because, well, as for the future entries of the series though, I don't exactly memorize everything, so... Must admit though at this point, because even then, well, I do know some of these Pokemons, specifically the legendary ones, because of the Pokemon movies I've watched from the past few years and stuff like that. Well, one of them exception is you know, Pokemon Destiny Deoxys, because I still really despise that film so much, because, you know, I just really hate the actual, like, I just hate everything about that film, so... But I digress. So we actually face off against with Carmella for the second time actually for this entirety of Luigi's perspective, and then we're able to fight against with her for the final time whenever we get to the Daredevil mission at this point. So I cannot even believe that most of these missions can go down really fast at that one point or another. So I can't believe it's been so shocking actually. So. Anyways though, so we managed to go away from that, and let's just move on to the next mission in, you know, Deep Dark Galaxy, and that will have to be Bubble Blast Off, as far as I've already know about the missions names themselves, so, but even then though, that's as far as I can say about it. And speaking of such, I'd like to do something slightly different than the forms of how it does it on the Mario's playthrough of the game, because obviously we've already done the exact same order as before. Like, we already done... Oh, that took quite a while to load. But even then, though, as I said before, that we've already done the exact, you know, direct order with those galaxy orders from the actual satellite system or something like that. But this time around, though, after I managed to completely done with Deep Dark Galaxy, well, as you can see, we actually once again faced off against with this little multi-mole boss thingy right here. But actually, I'm gonna have to skip him for now on, though, because all it does is just gives you, like, well, if you manage to play as Luigi, then you would able to actually give yourselves a very, very, very good shortcuts for him, especially noticeable with his ridiculously high triple jump, and especially noticeable with this, you know, the actual jump height is actually way more higher than the forms of how it does it on Mario's playthrough. So, you know, you get the idea. And once again, my microphone is acting pretty stupidly recently. In fact, let me know in the comments below about the fact that would you like me to get the much more better microphone than this inferior microphone I had at this point, because normally I just had the standard USB microphone at the moment. So, oh, stupid cheap just keeps getting my way. But I digress. So, yeah, that's as far as I can most likely just think about for the time. So yeah, you can able to beat this for about a quicker amount of time, especially for Luigi, because, you know, that he jumps way too higher than the forms of how he does it for Mario, so you probably get the idea. So anyways, let's do this little, well, not so much for that, but 2-in-1 little ground pound combo between the last two watermelon pieces of the bowl. So yeah, it's pretty cool and interesting at the same time. And I believe fundamentally though, since we've actually now reached up to 90 power stars at this point, so we've only got about 30 power stars to go until whenever we manage to conclude the actual 100% completion, apart from this very last reward, if you manage to able to complete not only for the sake of the actual like Super Mario Galaxy, but it's also the Super Luigi Galaxy mode as well. So, but then again, we'll mention more on that in the future, especially noticeable when it gets to the next month. So, and speaking of such, the Prankster Comet actually shows up. So even then though, we need to deal with the, well, of course, the Daredevil mission. So even then though, that, generally speaking, this will actually be the final time we're going to be seeing Carmelo for this entire Mario game to begin with. So, but until the sequel, on the other hand though, well, we're not going to see him forever now, because even then though, she only makes an appearance specifically for this game itself. So, yeah, let's hop into it. And, it might take a while to able to actually realize about something about the fact that, oh, speaking of the Pokemon Direct, specifically on the release dates on that particular Direct, it will be on the 5th of June, which is about 6 days before this year's E3, which I think I've already briefly mentioned about this earlier, so even then I can't wait to see how this all turns out. Although I will make myself one little small thing clear, that I'm not exactly gonna get these two games basically, because I'm not exactly a huge, you know, when it comes to the spin-off games, I'm perfectly fine with, but when it comes to the main series of Pokemon, that I understand they're very popular back in the day, but it's just that it's not my cup of tea or anything. So that's as far as I can truly say about this here. So I know that some people seem to say that, oh, boo, you don't like the Pokemon series and all that stuff. Well, I don't necessarily hate them, honestly. It's just that, well, when it comes to playing, like, mainstream Pokemon titles, like, for instance, the actual Game Boy game and Game Boy Color game and Game Boy Advance game, well, I did manage to, as I said this before, I did manage to try out Pokemon Sapphire from time to time, and even especially noticeable for Pokemon Moon and Ultra Moon, that it doesn't seem to pique my interest. So, must admit though, I do apologize for that particular stimulation problems. So, but I digress. So, another thing worth mentioning though is the fact that for my Nintendo system, when it comes to the actual Pokemon Rumble Rush, which I think it only sort of released on North American so far, I really don't know about the other countries though, but even then, we might as well see what happens then. So even then though, so far they managed to able to receive the My Nintendo Rewards coins for Pokemon Rumble Rush. So, seems interesting enough, and in fact, it's been about 4 years since the last Pokemon Rumble installment, and that will have to be on the 3DS, known as Pokemon Rumble World, for specifically the digital download version and the physical version at the same time. But the reason why it's on the digital download originally is because of the actual, like, transaction purchases. So, yeah, you probably get the idea. You know, very similar to Team Kirby Clash Deluxe and all that stuff. So, at least I don't mind Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, but I haven't really get back into it for quite a long time. It's because, well, at this point I managed able to actually purchase my money for specifically for some upcoming stuff. Like, for instance, you know, obviously, I think we've already got ourselves about a few more weeks to go until, let's just say, the Super Mario Maker 2 will be on its way in during the likes of the next month at this point right now. So, because again, that's another thing I forgot to mention about this, you know, ever since in the Klonoa Daughter Phantom Isle Let's Play so far. So, jeez, I must admit that I must have able to actually get exhausted for able to do a lot of commentary and some stuff like that for that word. So, but anyways, before we're able to actually get into the actual underwater section, I need to grab the actual green shell for the sake of the actual, like, saving our air energy and stuff like that, or the air meter as far as I set this, like, a few seconds notice. So, yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. But anyways though, so, I guess there's not much else I can say. Apart from the fact that, well, we've already got about, like, for the UK audiences, due to the likes of the actual DVD's release dates and all that stuff, well, seems to say that one thing I forgot to mention about this during the likes of 2 days ago, from specifically for the exact same game I'm playing right about now, but recently that the Lego Movie 2 will be on its way on a DVD release / Blu-ray release, and during at some point in, I would say for about 5 days to go actually, which I'm really looking forward to it though, whenever I rewatch the film again, which I do really still enjoyed it, although granted it wasn't nearly as epic as the first film can handle, but it still looks very, very great of the sequel, so even then at least I'm happy that exists. So, but I wonder what they're gonna bring us to the third film, but it might not be, because even then though that, because, well, the box office department wasn't exactly nearly as high as the first film, and especially noticeable for the Lego Batman movie, and heck, even with the Lego Ninjago movie, which of all the Lego movies I've actually seen at this point, I still really find that Lego Ninjago movie is probably the weakest of the bunch. Most notably because, well, I appreciate about the animation once again, especially for worth credits due, but sadly to say for me, at least, is that the story kind of feels like a Star Wars movie or something like that, to me though anyway. And, especially noticeable with how the fact that I feel like, well, I haven't really watched the entire film per se, because I wasn't really into it at this point, because it wasn't until when My Little Pony the movie 2017 counterpart did manage to able to actually get itself released on, you know, the 20th of October, which I was really hyped for, especially I'm still a brony, I'm still the, you know, the brony and stuff like that, so, yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. So anyways folks, I think, seems to say that this is actually the final time we're going to be seeing Gulpy in this game, because after this, well, just like in the forms of how he does it on Camilla, until the sequel anyway, we're never going to see him ever again, because, well, I can assume that he got himself his death or something, so, but even then, we'll save these two for the next video, because I feel like some of these missions, specifically in Dreadnought Galaxy, can take slightly longer than the forms of how it does it on Matter Splatter, as you can see right there, that we're going to be hopping into next, and especially noticeable with Melty Molten Galaxy. So even then, we'll save the last two galaxies for later on, especially noticeable with the Snowcap Galaxy, in this case the final Hungry Luma stage, until like at some point in the next part or so. So, anyways though, let's move on to, you know, Matter Splatter Galaxy in Watch Your Step. So, I think seems to say this is actually the final time we're going to be seeing this Matter Splatter sections right here. And then, obviously, until the sequel comes around, then we're not going to see these mechanics ever again. So, but at least they might actually add something new to the table with it. And I'm almost going to die right there. Even though, funny thing is though, is the fact that whenever I did done the Mario's playthrough of this, somehow I've accidentally died due to that you know, that ground pound thing, you know, just like how I did from Dusty Dawn Galaxy on soaring through the winds and stuff like that, which is kind of embarrassing if you ask me, because, well, I just personally think I wasn't paying attention to all that movesets and stuff like that. I suppose there might be a final thing I could probably mention, but unfortunately though, I'm pretty sure I'm running out of ideas to able to actually discuss upon for this point in time, because even then, until, you know, I would say soon to say that until like 5 days to go, until like when some toys else can do you know, the actual Let's Play, or the actual redo Let's Play of Sonic Lost World, specifically on the Wii U version. So even then, I'm really looking forward to see how that redo Let's Play will turn out. Well, after several uploading sessions with, obviously I need to finish up with, well, I would say, sorry, what I meant to say is we've only got about like 3 more days to go until Sonic Lost World redo Let's Play will be up. So I keep on thinking of the future time per se, but even then, I must admit though, for this point, guys, I do apologize if my dialogue itself is gone super rusty at this point, because, well, apart from the fact that we've already mentioned about the forms of like that specific details as one pointing things out, but not as many as from the past few videos or so. But even then, that's as far as I can most likely aware of. So, but I digress. So let's go ahead and just, you know, keep on using this spring mushroom to able to actually get enough bounce height from that particular point right there. Well, here's the thing, I want to do something slightly different than the Mario's playthrough, actually. I'm gonna actually go ahead and up for a challenge slightly to deal with the last section, but with Spring Luigi, which I thought I might as well go for it. Even though some people seem to say that this will be a lot more difficult than on its own, so I might as well able to give that a go. But if not, then obviously that since the checkpoint is obviously right towards there, and obviously if we manage to able to die on that section, then, well, I can't able to turn back, because obviously that is just only for like one simple run. So hopefully we should give this a go, and this will take me to that. Oh wait, this is a dead end. No! At least I did try it. But even then, it's not as easy with Spring Luigi that I'm kind of thinking about it, so oh well, and I'm almost gonna die again, but let's just say screw these 2 1-ups for the time being, because obviously we've already got ourselves 42 1-ups at the moment, so yeah, you probably get the idea to adjust a bit. So anyway, so let's need to be very careful right there, especially noticeable with you know, with Luigi's slippery traction will be still a thing on this this entire run through, so yeah, you probably get the idea for that. So, generally speaking, for Cap King 74, speaking of which, he's going for, like, way too far for his, you know, cancellation Let's Play of Super Luigi Galaxy for the time, although he did manage to got himself, like, 27 power stars so far for Luigi's sake. So, yeah, because of that, though, well, it's just not even entirely rude about this, it's just that it's making this a little bit more of a, wow, somewhat of a little bit of a brief recap and stuff, but it's just that, wow, I'm just pretty sad about the fact that he's not going to carry on doing Super Luigi Galaxy. Well, he's still doing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild still, which I still really haven't heard him about this particular continuation part just yet, but until at some point in the future though, then he would able to get back into that game at some point. So, but anyways though, that concludes Master Splatter Galaxy, and we're never going to see that particular mechanics like this ever again, because even then, we're now up to 93 power stars, so yeah, not bad. And we've got about 2096, which, before I end this off right here, I just want to able to make my star bits count a little bit more sensical, especially noticeable that the actual current year we're still on it though, and even then though, we're able to actually just get rid of, I would say, for about quite a few star bits, as much as I can do. So even then, I might as well do that. So even then, oh, come on, hurry up, and boom, 2019 star bits. How about that? So perfect way to end this video off. So yeah, join me next time on Let's Play Super Luigi Galaxy. Is that hopefully we might as well continue on with the Golden Dome and able to actually gather as many of those, well, power stars. We're gonna start things up with Dreadnought Galaxy and possibly Melty Mountain Galaxy at this point. So, but again, we'll find things out during this Friday. So see you guys then.